gentlemen, welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Falakzeeb Khan, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions, by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such corporate stalwart on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Shanker Ramamoorthy. Hello, welcome, Mr. Ramamoorthy. We are glad to have you here today with us on FaceTime with Leaders.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm equally happy and pleased to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So let me give you a quick brief about Mr. Shanker Ramamoorthy. He stands as a paragon of customer-centric leadership with a stellar career spanning nearly 3.5 decades. His tenure as the general manager was marked by an unwavering commitment to increasing productivity, minimizing costs, and maximizing overall efficiency. His meticulous leadership and strategic planning capabilities set him apart, making him a revered figure in his field. He brings along an illustrious legacy, having retired from the prestigious Indian Oil Corporation, a Fortune 500 company. During his tenure, which spanned various departments such as operations, sales and marketing, and HR, coupled with his contributions transcending geographical boundaries, he has left a trail of positive change. His latest role has been that of General Manager at Indian Oil Corporation Limited. So, Mr. Ramamoorthy, to begin with, could you let our viewers know in brief about your career journey so far?
Thank you, Falak. It was a great introduction. Thank you so much. I finally retired as General Manager in HR, and which was a very challenging role, where we took care of administration and welfare. And to begin with, after completing my graduation and post-graduation in marketing management from Bangalore University in the year 1987, I took up a couple of small jobs. One was with Skypack Couriers as a sales executive, and then with Wipro Infotech Limited as sales coordination officer, where it was an coordination between sales department and the production department. But after this brief foray into the corporate world, I got into Indian Oil Corporation in the year 1988 as a management trainee, where we have a one-year training program, and then we are inducted as officers and for future candidates. So my first posting was at Vizag Terminal after my training, and where it was an exciting period. Vizag Terminal is one of the largest terminals of Indian Oil, catering to about 20 to 25,000 tons of fuel of all ranges, starting from LPG, liquid LPG, kerosene, naphtha, diesel, furnace oil, and all the products. Plus, it had the unique thing of having all the various operations, starting from pipeline transfer from the refinery, and then we had pipeline transfer through from tankers, ship tankers, where huge tankers from import from various places and in inland terminals were supplying product to us. We were basically a storage, input, storage, and then distribution location. So we got this inputs from from wagons, from the terminal, various refineries, and so all these were stored in various tanks of huge capacities, and of course safety was of utmost concern and care for all of us, because it is a very vulnerable product for accidents. So with all that, of course, those were the times when we had just getting into transition into computers from the manual systems in the 1980s, late 80s. And of course, then those were challenging times. And of course, we had a wonderful time, and I was really excited to be there. After my brief stint of 3 years in operations, wherein I could learn the entire gamut of how the product is received, stored, and distributed. Then I got into the sales and marketing side. I worked from 91 to 99 for about 8 years in the marketing in various locations. One is Hubli, Mysore, Belgaum. And in marketing, we had to, of course, position our product, sell our product. We had the opportunity to deal with very large customers like state transport undertakings, defense, railways, steel companies, fertilizer companies, name it. Every company requires a petroleum product, and we were all there interacting with them and giving our best services. It was, of course, we were also getting into retail function where we had to set up outlets at various locations, and setting up each outlet was a challenge by itself, because we had various government regulations, NOC to get, explosive approval, explosive license, and finally commissioning. So those were exciting times, of course. And as the company grew, we also learned to get into the trade and deal with various situations. Of course, each situation was challenging, at the same time very interesting and exciting. And subsequently, after 1999, I shifted to the LPG bottling operations in Bangalore, where I had a stint of 4 years. Then as an in charge of the bottling plant, again, we had to deal with all safety issues, where we were receiving product in bulk, bottling into cylinders, and distributing to our distributors. So that was also a new and challenging phase, where we had to deal with the various trade unions and balance the act, at the same time keep the production going, keep our quality going. So in the year 2003, subsequently, I went back to sales in the divisional office. I again was working in Belgaum, Ahmedabad, and Madurai. I had this time I was more into not containing about retail, because by then we had a policy in Indian Oil to bifurcate retail and direct sales. So the direct sales, where we dealt with the major customers like industries and defense and state transport undertakings. So those were also interesting and challenging. And of course, we had a very great discount was coming with challenges because of Reliance and SR coming into the picture, the private players, and they were offering huge discounts. So we were going after customers and offering discounts and getting our market share. We had a healthy market share of about 55-60% in the consumer front. In fact, in some places it was as high as 70-75%. So we had to keep because as the market leaders, we were constantly challenged by these players who are coming in new. So we had to keep our nose up front and keep above the water. And it was indeed an exciting phase. And after finishing one more about long tenure till 2018 in sales, I then finally got into HR, where I was in charge of administration and welfare. And those were again a new challenge, a new phase, and very interesting too. And of course, I could adapt to all these changes because of my versatility, and I could adapt to my own pace of things and make sure that things go well. As administration and welfare, we had to deal with the medical benefits, the housing benefits, and policy formation on all those fronts. And we had to make sure the people were comfortable. And Indian Oil is credited with one of the best HR policies. And of course, we have very little attrition in our company. And maybe we could say it is because of public sector kind of comfort. But the challenges came when the new generation started coming in. They were no longer just comfortable with the pay and salary. and whatever comfort we had to keep offering them new challenges and ensure that they were kept in good state. And of course, because any company grows, uh, we have to be sure that our people are the core of the whole thing. And as our company policy goes about care, innovation, passion, and trust, these are the four core values of our company, and these are imbibed into each and every employee. So we had a significant role to play in all those things and make sure that the company kept going. And of course, I retired in the year 2022 after a successful career of 34 years and a very, very satisfying and interesting career. And on the personal front, I also had a passion for games. I used to play carom, chess, badminton, cricket, and of course table tennis. But we used to have the inter-regional tournaments, and I used to represent my zone in chess and badminton. So that was very exciting. And of course, I'm a yoga practitioner, and I'm also spiritually oriented. I have deep core values and ensure that those are passed on to my subordinates and everything is kept intact. So in brief, that would be my career. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So that was really very interesting to hear as well. And I would say really a commendable career journey. I'm sure like it has really helped you grow every day in life for better. Yes. So we want to know like what do you regard as your biggest professional achievement and why?
Very interesting question. I mean, during my career, we have had so many achievements, each one in its own way. But to top it all, I would say one significant achievement, which is top of my head, was when we had to collect a huge outstanding of about 203 crores from SPIC Fertilizer Limited, which was a very big company and Tuticorin, and they were dealing with fertilizers, and mainly they were getting their inputs through subsidy from the government. So the business was good, everything was going fine, till one fine day they had to divert those funds for other business ventures. And one fine day they could no longer suddenly start paying our dues. So we had a huge challenge on our hands. We kept waiting. I mean, giving them more time, more time. Finally, at one time, they could not stop. They went into what do you call insolvency. They were into BAFR, and they had to be coming back. So by that time we had a huge outstanding of about 206 crores. Now, how to revive this? How to get this back? Because they were already into insolvency. So that is when our whole team, including my general manager and others, got into active mode. It was a fantastic effort where we could interact with the government, with the ministry, and then there was a rehabilitation package worked out. And then to make sure we get our dues, we worked on an escrow arrangement with the government as a tripartite deal, wherein it was all on the software mode. As in when they produce, everything they get build it onto the system, and they look at once that is fed into the system, then over a period of time, on a periodic basis, the subsidy is one portion of it gets loaded into the escrow account, and over a period of 1.5 to 2 years, we could collect the entire outstanding of 206 crores plus an interest of about 100 crores. So it was a huge, challenging and very satisfying thing. When we could collect our outstanding, but we could keep our business going, which was a huge business for us. And also, it was satisfying that fertilizer company, which is a lifeline for farmers and things like that. So these were also revived, and the company has started working well. So I would consider that would be one of my biggest achievements. Thank you.
That's really great, I must say. Like Wonderful, indeed. So your career has showcased strong analytical skills and the ability to deep dive into problems. Can you provide an example where your analytical approach led to a significant improvement or solution within your organization?
Actually, I've been a chess player from beginning. So analysis and deep analysis was my forte. So I used to get into problems in, in different angles and different solutions. So we were, of course, we had various examples, but one of the things which comes to my mind as an example was a very unique solution for a very typical problem. We had a customer in the fishing harbor who were selling fuel to the fishing trawlers and things like that. It was a little unorganized sector, and but the business was huge. We had almost selling about 8-10 tankers per day, and the implications were huge. It was going well, but over a period of time, since they were on an unorganized sector, and their collection was from the small fishing trawlers. So some of them were not paying in time. So at some point, they got into a muddle where they could not keep paying us in advance. They were very touch and go kind of business thing, and they were not getting additional infusion of funds nor credit because of their unorganized nature. So then we thought of a unique solution, probably not unique in the private sector, but we had a system where they had to pay well in advance to get their supply of diesel. So we thought that we have in the system, we have to create a credit, which will be unauthorized if I don't get approval. Approval will not be given because they don't have a balance sheet, they don't have a credit rating or any of the letters from the bank or anything. So it was a bit of a bold and bold initiative, probably slightly risky in hindsight. So what we did was we created a temporary credit. We discussed with the customer in detail, and ensure, of course, we found them to be honest and trustworthy. So we created a temporary credit in our system to let the diesel go, because by the time the diesel truck goes, it's a 4 hours drive for the truck. So by the time it reaches around 12 o'clock, by then he takes the DD and hands over the truck DD to the truck, and the DD comes back to us by the same evening, and it gets accounted. So by the evening, when the truck DD comes, by then we get the message of the DD number. So we already put the amount in the system,
Yes.
and we collect the DD. Of course, the system worked smoothly, and it was a little innovative, but it saved our business, it saved the customer, and the business kept going. So this was one of the few examples I could say.
That's really great, we must say. So when we talk about corporate governance, we want to know how and when did you develop an interest in corporate governance?
Well, in Indian Oil, we have already inbuilt a system of accountability, transparency, ensuring that the people have responsibility and the right authority. So which probably forms the core of corporate governance. And we make sure we follow all the rules. So it kind of got built into my system over a period of time. I won't say it just happened overnight. So being in the culture where we have this system of transparency, accountability, and result oriented. And of course, the delegation of authority is a strong Bible for us, wherein each one is defined what authority, what level, who can do. And of course, the overall system ensures that we use it for the right purpose in the right way. And we also have a strong financial concurrence in each of our proposals, which are everything is written and rooted in the system. So everything is followed in a proper process and ensured that everything is put on paper. Even if there's some deviation, it is put on paper and approval taken. So we had a strong corporate governance culture, and which I see has been in the last one, I've seen so many cases of late, where the corporate governance has suffered, probably because these were not well defined and probably not followed appropriately. So my years of experience, I now understand, has been that it has been with corporate governance itself. So kind of I've ingrained in that, and I believe that's the true way to go about business.
Yes, definitely. So, as a corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
Again, as our core values are there of care, innovation, passion, and trust, which we work in all our goals that all our endeavors, and the accountability and transparency is there. So make sure that everything is open and referable at a later date if there is a deviation, and if so, why. All things are put on paper. So we don't have to recollect whether what we did was right. And of course, these a lot of things depend on your personal traits and characteristics. And I believe I would be truly truthful and honest in our approaches to things. And so I would put that into the corporate governance culture.
That's really great, and I must say, truly inspiring indeed. So, when we talk about technology, what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology? And what changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, and Web 3.0?
As I told you initially when I joined Indian Oil, we were just transitioning into computers, not even just putting data on computer and things like that. So I've seen a tremendous change in the last 3 decades and how things have worked out. And we used to have something called a Bradma plate, and invoices were manually printed. We then got into computers where software were built in there. So things were getting more into, but even that was not good enough. And we got into ERP. We were operating on SAP package. And so that kind of totally revolutionized our whole operations and working in our organization. So apart from that, then in the late 90s, the mobile culture came into being, and that was a tremendous transformation. Then web came into the picture, and a lot of things got transformed. Then we started looking at B2B and B2C and things like that. So those were kind of things that I have seen. But later on, IoT and AI and ML, they're all phenomenal changes, and I'm sure they are going to take much more faster our progress. And as technology progresses, we also reach now we can see technology being so good that even a panwala is giving a QR code to make a payment. So those are phenomenal transformations, and I'm sure every business has to transform and adopt to the new technologies. Of course, sometimes AI is frightening, and I'm sure we'll find a middle path where we can, harness it all to our advantage.
Right. Yes, that we just hope that, people use it for their betterment and not like they don't take disadvantage of it. So, as you know, we are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So, what are your thoughts about this initiative taken about by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
I think I've been inspired from the first web meeting which I had with them, the way they have approached, and they have gone about this whole process of inducting independent directors, and how they have given the entire inputs of the same. Yes, and to develop new dealers, new leaders from various inputs from various industries and things like that. So I think it's a fantastic initiative by Directors Institute, and especially Zishan Pathan and Heval Mehta. And I've been through their various web sessions, which are truly inspiring, and the way they are conducted, the industry experts give their thoughts and process. And sure, we'll all develop into new leaders in the future. So has just been a wonderful experience. I truly congratulate the team for all the effort and output that is coming out. Thank you.
These have been really kind words by you. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you so much, Mr. Shanker Ramamoorthy, for joining us today. We wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably has expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds. And all the wonderful teachings, the different principles that you shared, that you live by, the wonderful career journey that you've shared with us. I'm sure everyone watching this, it is going to help them grow in their careers as well. So thank you so much for being with us on FaceTime with Leaders.
I thank you so much for this opportunity. It has been great to converse with you on all the diverse topics and interesting insights. And I'm sure it is a really good experience for me. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Stop the recording.